Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this, another breaking news video. You wait all year for one, then two come within, 12 hours? Today, the breaking news is Jack Doohan is out, Franco Colapinto is in, but only for the next 5 races. We'll talk about all that and more in just 1 second. Before we do that, remember to like and subscribe. And of course, a huge shout out to the members: Dakota, The Joyous James, Ron Myers, Cinnamon Strudel, Michael Johnson, Mr. Eurovision 1986, Philip Doganzik, Flandy Skick, and No Edam on Sandwiches. Let's get into this then, because I've only just woken up. So, the official announcement came about half an hour ago as I'm recording this, that Alpine have put out a post saying that Franco Colapinto will step up to replace Jack Doohan for the next 5 races. This was followed then by a post saying that Jack Doohan is a true professional all the way. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication. He will remain an integral part of our team as a reserve driver. So it is just a straight swap. And they've been very clear and obvious with this, saying it is just for the next 5 races. So we have got a triple header coming up starting next weekend, which is Imola, Monaco, Spain, and then it is Canada and Austria. They are the 5 races that Franco Colapinto has to perform in the Alpine. Then from there they will reevaluate before going to Silverstone, Belgium, Hungary, and so on. It is incredibly strange. I can't think of any time that since I've been watching Formula 1, which is basically my entire life, that a team has gone, this is our driver, but only for this amount of races in the middle of the season. I can't think of a time that's ever happened before. Correct me if I'm wrong, you may know a different one, but I think this is incredibly, incredibly strange. The implication here is that after 5 races, if Franco Colapinto is not performing well, Jack Doohan is back in. But that also could not be true, because if we look at Alpine, we know they have a stupid amount of reserve drivers. So not only did they have Franco Colapinto up until now, they also have Paul Aron, Kush Maini, and Rio Hirakawa. Although Rio Hirakawa has now gone to Haas, so it's Kush Maini and Paul Aron. So who knows, at Silverstone, we could be looking at either of those two in the car, and they go, well, you have 5 races now, and we'll see where you go from there. I mean, it's a really, really strange situation, but this is the situation that Alpine have presented themselves with, and we made a video yesterday about Oliver Oak stepping away and Flavio Briatore now becoming the team principal, and I said in that video that my speculation was the reason why Oliver Oak stepped away was to do with this whole Jack Doohan, Franco Colapinto situation. And it seems very non-coincidental that less than 12 hours later, after Oliver Oak steps away, they go, it's official everyone, he's out, he's in. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes. Let's talk about Jack Doohan though briefly here, and what he has done in the 7 races that he has been a part of this team. So far, no points for him on the board, but I don't think that is necessarily a massive put down of him, because the Alpine has not been great. You have Pierre Gasly, who was an experienced Formula 1 driver, at times has been absolutely incredible, and he has only scored points twice. So he scored 6 points in Bahrain, 1 point last weekend out in Miami. So for Doohan to have no points, I don't think is necessarily a down point on him. When we look at the teammate comparison between the two of them over the races that they've had, so in qualifying it is 6-1 to Pierre Gasly. Jack Doohan got his one qualifying over Gasly at the Miami Grand Prix, with him qualifying 14th, Gasly down in 20th. But in terms of the race, it is 5-2 to Pierre Gasly, and those 2 for Doohan come from, firstly, when Gasly was disqualified in China, and secondly, where Gasly DNF'd in Saudi Arabia after the crash with Yuki Tsunoda. So when they've both actually finished on the track, which, to be fair, is only 3 times. So Abu Dhabi last year, was one. Japan, Bahrain. That's it. Because Doohan crashed in Australia. Gasly disqualified in China. Gasly DNF in Saudi Arabia and Doohan DNF in Miami. So there's only 3 times they've both actually finished on the track, and all those 3 times Gasly has been ahead of Doohan. So, I was talking about this on the driver ratings video with Doohan. He seems lovely. He seems like a really nice guy. He's got his head on right. I think he's coped immensely well with the pressure that has been on him from the start. Because basically, even if you go back to F175, every question that's thrown at him has been about how he's going to be dropped and Franco Colapinto's coming in. And, it takes someone with tremendous mental strength to deal with that in the way that he has. And he just kind of dealt with it with a smile on his face. And I think he's done a really good job from there. But his results haven't been fantastic. There's nothing that I've really seen from him that has leapt out to me and gone, wow, this is the guy. In the same way that when Franco Colapinto came in to replace Sargent last year, almost immediately I thought, this guy's really impressive. The way he took it to Albon pretty much straight away in both qualifying and the race. I mean, let's pull up their stats whilst we're here. So Alex Albon, teammates, Franco Colapinto. So Franco Colapinto and Alex Albon, in the races, where did they start? They started in Italy. So yeah, Franco wasn't necessarily on the pace straight away in Italy. So we had Albon started and finished that race in 9th, whereas Colapinto went from 18th to 12th. But I remember he had that moment in the in the gravel trap. But then, in the next race, Albon's qualifying 9th, and Franco Colapinto out-qualifies him in 8th. Then in the race, Albon finished 7th, Colapinto was 8th. Then the next race, Albon was qualifying 11th, Colapinto was 12th. The race after that, Albon's 14th, Colapinto's 15th. It was pretty much immediately he was on the pace, straight away. There was no real warm-up for him at all. And this was at a midpoint of the season, just coming into a car that he'd never driven before. And I thought that was so tremendously impressive. And, the thing is with Doohan, if you give him a whole season, who knows what he's going to do? He might have those really impressive moments. But I guess we will never know. Unless, of course, Colapinto craps the bed for the next 5 races and they have to do the swap again. It's such a weird position to be in for a Formula 1 team with a rotating second driver. It's almost like in the 80s, where it's drivers would change all the time for the smaller teams. But, yeah. Let me know what you think of this, because I think this is a really weird one. I'm looking forward to seeing Colapinto back again, because like I said, I thought he was very good last year. Hopefully, he can carry that same pace into the Alpine, and we see how that goes. But yes, is this the last we're going to ever see of Doohan? If I had to put money on it right now, I would say he does not come back in the Alpine this year. And then from there, who knows who's going to want to take a chance on him for the future. But I think this might be the end of Jack Doohan's Formula 1 career. We shall see, though. It's a very, very weird position in the Alpine. Who knows who's going to end up where, but yeah, it's a weird one. Let me know what you think, because this will be one of the biggest stories of the year, and all eyes will be on Franco Colapinto for Imola a week on Sunday. And of course, we'll cover all of it. I will see you then. Until then, though, have a good one. Goodbye.